we're so thankful to have you join us today, whether it's by videocast or by podcast. Welcome. I am here today with Myria Scott. She's the Director of Human Resources at Word of Life Church. She's got a lot of experience in the corporate world as well. And I wanted to ask her very specific questions for young people who are looking to get jobs, young people who are looking to get raises, make more money, move up the company ladder, all of those kinds of things. And to just walk through this with someone who has seen this process play out many times here at our church and our church staff, and then also in the corporate world. And so, Myria, we're so thankful to have you here with us. It's always a joy and a privilege to talk to you, and I'm excited about this topic of conversation.
Well, it's so exciting to be here, and I'm looking forward to see what plays out with this. This is one of my favorite topics, and I believe this is something that the Lord has really placed in my heart at a young age, even when I didn't know that it was something that He wanted me to do. But I can tell any young person that God's plan for your life is always moving you up in whatever endeavor He has you to work in. And so just know that He has a plan for your life.
Yes. Now, I think that's, like you said, God's plan is forward.
Yeah.
We read that in 3 John. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Mm-hmm. And that word prosper literally means to see progress. Prosperity, biblical prosperity, beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper. That's not like everybody be millionaires and that kind of thing. It means not like you're seeing progress.
Yes.
That like where I'm at now, I'm not stagnant. I'm not stuck. I'm seeing progress.
Yes.
I'm able to see advancement. I'm able to see things move forward. And so for, young people who may be looking to see their life move forward or kind of break out of the level that it's at, let's start with getting a job. I know there's, some jobs we take because we have to make money, mm-hmm. but then there are other jobs that we would want because we like the culture and we believe it would provide good income for us. How do I land a good job? Like, what does that look like? And that process of a job interview, getting your foot in the door, what does that look like from an HR perspective?
One thing I would say about a job is that interview any job that you are pursuing with the same intensity.
Yeah.
My first job was a job that I was going to take until I got a real job. And, it turned out to be the job that my career was in.
Really?
And so had I not taken that interview seriously, I don't know how I would have progressed on that job, because you just never know, or you may have an inkling at first, but you just never know that where the Lord has have you interviewing today may be the beginning of the big plan that He has for you. It was in retail, and retail was one of those jobs you take in college.
Right. And
until you get your real job. Well, my career ended up being in retail. And I'm so grateful that I took that interview seriously.
Yeah, that's good. So in every case, whether it's, my real job or like the job I had before my quote unquote real job.
Yes.
What does that interview process look like? I know so many things are digital now.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest, certain corporations are looking at those digital things, maybe looking at do you have a master's degree or what's your educational experience? And, that's something that I hear a lot of people talk about now is college worth it? Like so many people have these college degrees that they're absolutely not using at all and leverage college debt. It's very interesting. My kids are approaching college age, and, as we begin navigating that, I've got a lot of different opinions about it, but I know I've got several buddies of mine who own their own companies, who own their own businesses, because things are digital. What they've told me is they're not necessarily looking at the degree, but if you don't have that college education, it just immediately kicks right out of HR, just because they're looking at all these different things that are kind of there, that if you don't have a personal relationship with the people who are doing the hiring or things like that, it's harder to land those kinds of jobs. What are your thoughts on that? Of like, have you seen that from an HR perspective? Has that been something that's been your experience when you're looking at like just the job application itself, whether it's printed or through digital things?
I look at a couple of things. I would encourage anybody to get their education.
Right.
That will always be a plus.
Yeah.
To go to college to get your degree.
Yeah.
For those that have worked and you work your way up, your experience becomes your education.
Yeah.
And so you can work your way up without a degree, but it is a different process. So I would encourage people to get their education. But even with an education, a work ethic, a really good work ethic, will get you a job, will get you promoted, or will get you a job.
And that's what I'm kind of hearing from a lot of different HR reps and people who own their own business, is like literally the education did not mean you got the job. It just meant you were in the field of candidates to be able to be open to give the job to.
Yeah.
That without like checking that box, which is funny to me, but without just checking that box that you got, quote unquote, this degree and whatever, that they're not even looking for that. One friend of mine said, I looked to see if they were like a rush chairman or something like that, because that shows a skill set, like when they went to college, and that type of thing. But anyway, so if I have the degree, it gets me in the door. That still doesn't mean I'll get the job or make progress in the job, because that interview matters. And then obviously my work ethic and things like that matter after the interview. How do I get in the door, got the interview, I'm talking to a potential employer. What increases my likelihood of being able to get that job?
Being comfortable in that interview. Relating with the person that's doing the interviewing. The first impression is your dress.
Right.
And I know that we're a very casual world today. I know we can wear jeans. I know I love coming to our church. We're a casual church. But I also know that professionalism will never go out of style.
Right.
It will never go out of style. There is even professionalism in casual. So your appearance is a big deal when you walk into that room with the interviewer, smiling.
Yeah. With dress, my father used to always tell me this. He said, it will never hurt you to be the best dressed person in the room.
Yeah.
He's like, it may hurt you to be the worst dressed, but it'll never hurt you to be, am I overdressed? He's like, it'll never hurt.
Yeah.
It'll never hurt to be the best dressed person in the room.
Yeah.
And I think a sense of like, I take care of my dress. It does matter in a job interview context. And things like that. And then smiling, you said, was the second thing. So watching your face.
Yeah.
I know that's a big thing even for communication. When I'm training communicators, it's like smile while you talk.
Yeah.
Because people forget what you say, but they won't forget how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
And in a job interview, I want to make them feel at ease with me.
Yes.
I want to make them feel like I'm a nice person, like that kind of thing. And it doesn't mean you have to be funny or make jokes or things like that. But if you're smiling while you talk, and it's like, it's a really joy, it makes an impression.
Yes.
Makes an impression. So smile while you talk.
Yeah. And when you're smiling and you're talking about your job, you give the impression that you enjoy working.
Yeah. And that would be a good impression to give.
Yeah,
I like it. So one of the things that you've, constantly, talked to me about is people's knowledge of the church before they get hired.
Yeah.
Of like, do they know the church? Do they know, what we stand for? Have they attended? But I think that's true for almost any, whether it's working for Belk or working for CarMax or whatever. It's like, do you know our product?
Right.
Have you researched our problems? Like, do you see potential opportunities here? And like being able to speak to those things in the job interview matters. What would you say along that line?
People that research companies and they talk about it in an interview. I've seen I've seen where people have, we can see them in our mission
Yeah.
by the way they relate to it and by the
Yes.
way they talk about it.
Yes.
And so that's the impression you want to give the person that you're interviewing with, that they can see you in their mission. They can see you in the flow of their company.
Years ago, me and our executive pastor, who now pastors in Oregon, we did a job interview with this guy. And he was in Alabama, so he didn't know our church, had not attended Word of Life, but we kind of felt like for this particular role, we may want to hire from outside the culture and to bring something new. I kind of always seen that, like if I want to add something to, hire from within. If I want to bring in something new, hire from without sometimes, to bring in people who have done whatever new thing I'm looking to do into the culture. And so for this particular role, I was looking to like bring in something new. And we interviewed with this guy, and it was for a position in youth. And he starts telling us like, okay, I saw you guys are in Flowood, Mississippi. Here's this high school, here's this high school, here's this high school. This one's within 4 miles, this one's within 7 miles, this one's within 10 miles. Here's the coaches. He started quoting off all these things. Here's a plan to kind of reach them. I didn't hire him for that job. I hired him for another job though, and put him in that role because I saw this is somebody who's coming to an interview with like, here's potential that things we could do within the context of this job.
Yeah.
He had gone to our website. He knew our values. He knew what we stood for. He knew our opportunities and was able to speak to that in the interview. It made a significant impression upon me.
Yeah. You know, one thing in interviews that that I would really encourage people to do is to talk about, give examples of how you've done or how you've been successful. Often I hear of people of what they would like to do,
right,
or how it should look, but give success examples of how you have played out or how you have walked out the questions that they're asking.
Yeah. The heart of all employment to me is like, solve my problems.
Yeah.
Don't be a problem. Don't create a new problem for me. Solve my problems.
Yeah.
And to your point of that, if I come and I show past examples of here's where this was and here's how I solved this problem.
Yes.
Here's where, I built this business. Here's where I did something other than to just collect pay.
Yeah.
But I did something to earn pay or to even go beyond what was being earned, I think is very valuable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Also, I know that also be prepared to talk about areas that you are still working on.
Yes. And to be honest.
Yes.
But not too honest.
I know. Be wise.
Be wise.
In what you share.
Yeah.
There was a question that we used to always ask, and we don't ask it as much as what are your weaknesses?
Yeah.
Give a name 2 of your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you how many times the room went silent and it's like, I can't think of any. And
that's a problem.
Yes.
That's your weakness.
Yes. And so by the end of the interview, we do discuss weaknesses, but be prepared with how you want to communicate your weakness. Don't let the interview be your first time saying what that is.
Yes, that's good. Like, I'm just too nice. But no, have going into that. Like, I would speak to the fact of like, I'm not overly good with technology. And I know that I'll have to interact with a lot of those things. And so I'm willing to learn, but that's something that I'll have to adapt to and something that I have to adjust to. And that could be a deal breaker. But what I've seen is that when people are, the first rule, know yourself. Yeah. When people are aware of what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy, and can articulate that well, speaks to some of those, especially some of those higher roles that we may be hiring for. Like, do you know yourself? For sure. Yeah. And when you talk about your weakness or your challenges. Yeah. I heard someone just kind of rephrase it. Well, my challenges are, I like that. Note what you're doing about it. Yes. And that
is engaging with the person that you're talking about, because we all have weaknesses. Even the person that you're interviewing with,
Yeah.
they also have weaknesses. Or they also have challenges that they are improving in.
Yeah. One thing that would, impress me as an employer, if even in regards to that question, because we do personality tests and things like that, is if the employee had already taken them. It's
Yeah.
like, here's what I am on an Enneagram. I'm a 3. Here's the strengths. Here's my weaknesses.
Yeah.
When I'm stressed, here's what I go to.
Yeah.
Or I've taken DISC. I test out as a D on DISC. And as that, I'm very driven. But sometimes that can be detrimental. And like, if they could begin to speak like they have studied themselves with personality before I even have to put them through it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying to go to work on me. I think that would be even a safe way to kind of explain weakness or challenges or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But in a way that also impresses upon the employer that, like, I genuinely am trying to know myself. And that's why I'm interviewing for this job, is I think this job will be a good fit for my strengths.
Absolutely.
And a good fit for the things that I am.
Absolutely.
I think that would be very helpful. So that's DISC, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, any of those things. Take those things, and that could be an opportunity to share with them in that job interview that you're serious about your personal development and really kind of taking that forward, and can sneak that in there under the guise of weaknesses.
One thing too is to not to let the interview be a major on your weaknesses.
Yes.
And let it be a major on your strengths.
Yes.
Because to your point, that's why we want to hire you. We want to hire somebody who is strong at doing what we need them to do.
Yeah.
And who is equipped already to do what we need them to do. So really capitalize on those strengths. One of the things that in communicating that is to let them see the benefits of that. If you have an opportunity to visit visit the site, like when I was in retail, it was very easy to shop the place before I interviewed, so that I can get a sense of it, and also with that, showing how your strengths will benefit them in the flow of their company. So capitalize on that as you get to know, as you find more out about the company, associate that with your strengths and talk about it in the interview.
I like it. What else would you say in regards to any of this? Interview process is there. I'm trying to get the job. Is there anything else to do in the interview, after the interview, that kind of thing that could help seal the deal?
Follow-up is good.
Yep.
Just thanking the person for their time. In that follow-up note, make it very brief.
Yep.
And also just say something that the person said to you in the interview.
Yes.
I so appreciate that you mentioned this about your organization. And I think that is something that I would like to be a part of.
That's good.
So, just let them know that you were listening.
Yep. Has there ever been an interview that you did where it's like something particular impressed you, and what they did, like, that stood out to you, and you feel comfortable sharing, or in that kind of regard?
I'm trying to think of all of the hundreds of interviews that I've done. There was a person that was interviewing for a promotion, and the person's existing job required him to wear T-shirt, jeans, and basically work the docks. Well, the person interviewed for a supervisor's job and reported in a suit. I had never seen the individual in a suit. Now, he never had to wear a suit on the job, but the fact that he thought enough,
I like it,
to wear a suit.
You're not getting the same man. Like,
exactly.
I realize this is a different level.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show that even in the interview.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And what that showed was that he saw himself differently.
And saw that the role required something else.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. Well, thank you so much, Myria. We're going to come back with another episode with Ms. Myria where we talk about how to get a raise and how to ask for more money from your employer. So you want to catch that out. It's always a pleasure being with you all. May you be blessed. We'll see you next time.